All right, so let's see. Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and get started while folks are pouring in. Let's see. So, man, let's talk about a couple of things today in this pre-market. Obviously, we'll take a look at scheduled red and orange folder news as well as Tesla specific news. We'll also take a look and I'll pull up Truth Social so we can see if there's any tweets by the president. And then I'll take a look at the trades that I took yesterday and go over a couple of other things later in the segment. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you all joining. All right. So, today, currently, Tesla is up 0.63%, 0.63% in the pre market. It took off yesterday. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let me pull up the Tesla chart. And I'm going to tradingview.com. Going to click on products, then super charts. And then I'm going to click on the search, pull up Tesla. All right, so I'm on the 1 minute time frame. I'm on the 1 minute time frame. And yesterday, I spoke about this in my pre-market yesterday. All right, so I talked about zooming out to the higher time frames, right, to the monthly, taking a bird's eye view, and then narrowing that view, right, drilling down to the lower time frames, from the monthly to the weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and the 15 minute. And what I talked about yesterday is marking out these key levels. And I marked out three specific key levels that were very important to my trade yesterday, which was the monthly, and that was marked at 347 and 16 cents, 347, 16 cents. And the daily, which was 337 and 84 cents, 337 and 84 cents. And then there was the last point that I marked out, which was a key point of resistance, because we tried to break, or Tesla tried to break beyond this point several times. I mean, 5 times total. And this was 334.99. So we could just round up to 335. So 335. And that's this point here. And as you can see yesterday, we broke right at the open. We were making our way to beyond the point of resistance. We broke beyond that point of resistance in the pre-market. And then once the market opened, we quickly retested that point of resistance and took off, right? We used it as support to just launch, right? And you can see from this point, this was crazy. We just touched shy of the monthly key level that I drew out, which was 347.16. We came to 346.64, 346.64. So just, what, 50 cents, 60 cents below the key level that I marked out yesterday. So this is why we talk about drawing key levels, because you want to look historically and see what the stock has done. And I took everyone through yesterday how to draw out these key levels. So if you want to know, if you want me to redo that, I can do that for another ticker. Actually, I could do that for AMD coming into today. So I did take this trade yesterday. I put in 2 positions. I took a swing trade and a day trade for Tesla, actually for both Tesla and AMD. And they both did exactly what I expected it to do. The other thing I want to point out that I noticed is when we're taking these trades, when I'm taking these trades specifically, I'm going to start also looking for these V-shaped reversals. And what I mean by looking for them, I'm going to start trading these V-shaped reversals more often, because typically I would only take like one trade a day. I take like one trade a day. Hey, what's up, Susanna? Glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, so I would take just one trade a day, but now I'm going to start looking for these, V-shaped reversals. Tesla and AMD both did this yesterday. If I zoom out, let me reset this chart. I just switched over to the AMD chart. You can see AMD did the same thing. All right. We soon, right at the open, aggressive push higher, right? We went as high, but pushed as high as $170.70, 178.70, 178.70. And then right after that, we lost momentum, right? We couldn't quite, push higher. We tried after a little bit of consolidation, but then the stock price just fell, right? And so there was an opportunity to, capture this downtrend as well before the market closed. And now today, for both AMD and Tesla, I expect maybe a little bit of a consolidation right at the open, or we may get more of the same as we saw yesterday, right? So right at the open, there could be an aggressive push higher based on the higher time frames, and I'm using the higher time frames as a basis for this for my thesis. Okay. Now, let's answer a question. Why should we look at QQQ and SPY? When we're trying to determine direction for our trades, why should we look at QQQ and SPY? Let me know in the live chat what is the reason we should look at QQQ and SPY, and I'll answer that at the end of this segment. All right, we'll come back to that question. Why should we look at QQQ and SPY? Or why should I look at QQQ and SPY when trading stocks like Tesla or AMD or NVIDIA? LJ says for relative strength or weakness. Okay. For relative strength and weakness. What's up, LJ? Glad you're here, man. Appreciate you joining. So why should we look at QQQ and SPY when trading stocks like Tesla or AMD or NVIDIA? All right, so I'm going to come back. Feel free to drop your answers in the live chat. I'm going to come back to that. All right, I'm going to come back to that question. So let's take a quick peek at a couple of things before I talk further about this Tesla and AMD trade, because there's a couple of things that I want to highlight, but I want to get some important things out the way first. Susanna says, SPY moves the market and QQQ also most of the tech stocks. Okay, cool. Let's see. First, let's pull up Forex Factory. We want to take a quick peek at red and orange folder news. This is scheduled news that could negatively or positively impact the market. I'm navigating over to forexfactory.com, forexfactory.com. Let me adjust the screen for you all on TikTok. Let me see. All right. Let me zoom in. Got a couple of things that's dropping today. We had some red and orange folder news that dropped at 12:30 a.m. This is Central Standard Time, by the way. 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m., and 4 a.m. Okay, 4 a.m. We do have more red folder news scheduled to drop at 7:30, so in about 15 minutes. So we have core CPI, and after that, no more until 8:30 p.m. All right, so we'll be out of the market by that time unless we're in a swing trade. So we'll come back and take a quick peek once this red folder news drops at 7:30. All right, let's take a quick peek at Truth Social because we want to see what the president is talking about or has mentioned. All right, because we want to stay abreast because he can tweet and move the market. All right, so truthsocial.com, we take a look. Let's see. I'm just going to take a quick scan. I don't think we've had anybody with this much impact on the country since FDR. Chuck Todd, formerly of NBC Fake News, in an interview with journalist David Brody. Wow, thank you, Chuck. I always said that you were far better than the scum that runs the fake news at NBC, and especially Brian Roberts and Comcast. You are a free man now. Congratulations. Use your time well. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, I already seen this. So Nothing new yet except that tweet. So I'll just come back and peek periodically. I take a peek periodically because it's important to see what the president is saying because he can move the market, right? Something he tweets can move the market. So you want to be prepared. Definitely want to be prepared. All right, so let's take a look at Tesla specific news. Let's navigate back to Tesla. And I'm back in TradingView. And I'm simply clicking on the Tesla link in the right pane of TradingView. All right, to bring up a couple of tabs here, one of which is the news tab, So I'm going to click on it. I'm just going to take a quick peek to see if I see any headlines that could potentially move Tesla, right? Anything that could positively or negatively impact Tesla. All right, so we do have some news 15 hours ago. Right at 15 hours ago, Tesla wins Texas robotaxi license. Uh-oh. 15 hours ago. Let's take a look here. This could be interesting, right? Because Tesla is still waiting for the license in California, right? They have in San Francisco, they have the ride hailing service or sharing service, but they can't. What they want to do, what Tesla wants to do, is launch the robotaxi ride share, hailing service as well, right? But they need a license for that to collect money for that service. All right, so we're still waiting. Well, not we, but Tesla's still waiting for that license. All right, so Tesla wins the Texas robotaxi license. The Tesla stock climbed after Texas officially listed Tesla Robotaxi LLC as a licensed entity, clearing a key hurdle before a new state law takes effect on September 1 that regulates autonomous rideshare services the same as those with human drivers. So that's pretty big, right? Yeah, that regulation is going to be pretty big. And I think, well, I don't want to speculate. So next up, Tesla has pointed to Nevada, Arizona, California, and Florida for expansion. So remember, I just talked about the California license that's still pending. I imagine Nevada should be fairly easy. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I imagine Nevada should be fairly easy. Not sure about Arizona and Florida. But Elon Musk has also talked about reaching probably half of the United States population by the end of 2025. Now, that's pretty aggressive, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, so here's the thing. Let's take a look at Tesla yesterday. I don't see any additional news. Tesla stock is rising as Elon Musk threatens legal action against Apple. What? Let's check. I didn't see this one. Let me take a quick peek. All right, this dropped today. Tesla stock is on one of its streaks, going for 5 consecutive gains on Tuesday. Shares might have to overcome a brewing controversy between CEO Elon Musk and Apple. Now, the electric vehicle maker stock was up 0.3% at 340 in the pre-market trading, while the S&P and Dow Jones were up less than 0.1%. The move comes as Musk threatened legal action against Apple on Monday, alleging it was illegally. Bear with me. I'm not sure why they're restricting my TikTok is trying to restrict my live. I didn't even say anything. TikTok is bugging. Did I say anything? I don't even know I said anything. Yeah. So let's see. Where was I? The move comes as Musk threatened legal action against Apple on Monday, alleging it was illegally stifling competition in its app store. Apple didn't just put their thumb on the scale; they put their whole body, tweeted Musk. So the battle brewing is essentially between Musk's AI company xAI and Apple, not Tesla and Apple. All right, yeah, because I was pretty confused about that. Like, what does Tesla have to do with Apple? All right, so remember I talked about before how Tesla is transitioning to a tech company and one of the arms will be AI. So And then Musk is also creating or has created the XAI for the his social media company X, right? The social media platform. So XAI has apps for X, formerly Twitter, and Grok in the App Store. And Apple didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. So yeah. Hey, look, if you want to control the ecosystem at every point, you gotta control, from you gotta create everything. And that's exactly what Apple did, so they can control their entire ecosystem and then some, right? They do have a monopoly, and they are facing challenges, legal challenges, for that monopoly. Same as Google, right? Because Google was forced to split up, right, to sell either Google Chrome or what was it? It was Google Chrome or something else. I'd have to look that up again. But they were forced to uh, release their monopoly on the browser. So I think they have to like open it up to let, I forget. I'm gonna have to look that up again. But yeah, so same as Google and other companies, right? They have a monopoly on some of these. I mean, it was smart. I mean, look, Rockefeller did it. Rockefeller did it back in the day with the whole oil and gas and everything else. So, you know, we'll see how that shapes up later. But let's take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at Tesla. All right, before I get into the Tesla trade for QQQ and SPY, the question was, or excuse me, for Tesla and AMD. But let's get back to that question. Why should we watch? Why do I watch? Why is it necessary to watch QQQ and SPY when trading stocks like Tesla or AMD or Nvidia? And if I scroll up, let me see. Let me scroll up to. We had a couple of answers here. Man, scrolling up on TikTok sucks. Oh man. I wish y'all could just repaste the answers. It's like, this is ridiculous. Appreciate the likes, appreciate the follows. Man, it'll take me forever to scroll up. Like it's so far away. But some of the answers that I remember, some of the answers that I remembered is one person mentioned for relative strength and weakness, and another person stated that QQQ and SPY moves the market. And both of those answers are partially correct, right? It's not wrong, but it's only a piece. That's only a piece of the puzzle. The root of the answer for why it's important to watch QQQ and SPY is because if you're trading a company that is a holding of SPY or QQQ, you definitely want to keep an eye on the direction of the overall market, right? Because if I navigate to, let's do this. Let's navigate to QQQ. Okay, so if I navigate to QQQ, zoom in and check holdings, right? You can see here are some of the companies that are, now there's 102 holdings within QQQ, and we could check the weight. Look at this column here. We could check the weight to see how much weight does this particular company have on this index. And if you can see, NVIDIA has over 10%, and Microsoft. So if you're trading companies like NVIDIA or Microsoft or Tesla, like Tesla has 2.81%. So Tesla is one of those companies that um, it may deviate, maybe, I don't know, half the time. It may deviate from SPY and QQQ, but it is likely, the probability is likely if Qs and SPY are trending in a certain direction, Tesla will likely trend in that direction as well. Now, Tesla will oftentimes lead ahead of Qs and SPY, but you'll see that at certain times it might lead a little bit and then kind of fall back, slow down, and then let Qs and SPY catch up. But in QQQ, in this ETF, Tesla represents 2.8, almost 2.9% of the holdings. And you can see NVIDIA has 10%, Microsoft over 8, almost 9%, Apple almost 8%. So, and if we take a look at SPY, let's take a look at SPY's holdings. All right, we jump over to SPY, click on its holdings, and look at that. NVIDIA has over 8%, Microsoft 7%, Apple 6, Amazon 3, Meta 3, Alphabet 2, and Tesla 1.7%, 1.7, almost 2%, right? So this is why, and if you're looking for a company to trade, you can easily, jump over to the holdings of SpiraQ if you're just looking for a company, a good company, right? Because to make it into these ETFs, you have to be good, right? And you have to be consistent, right? They don't let anyone in. All right. So to get invited into these ETFs, man, you have to be doing something really spectacular. So if you're looking for a company to trade, you don't have to trade Tesla like I do, but you could trade any stock for that matter that's within these holdings. Okay. So let's talk about any questions before I proceed. I want to pause and make sure I'm not missing anyone's questions. If I missed any of your questions, please repost them in the live chat right now. If you have a chance, please repost. Thank you all for the likes and the follows. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right, in this next segment, I'm going to do a recap for my the trades that I took yesterday for both Tesla and AMD. So I can answer a couple of questions. I could do a quick lightning round of question answering if you all have any. I'll wait 60 seconds, give you all some time to type them in the live chat if you have any questions. All right, while I'm waiting for that, oh my goodness, look at Tesla. Y'all see this? Oh man, look at that. This is speed and momentum. Look at how quickly this candle is developing. Can y'all see this? Man, I hope you can see it. Look at how quickly this candle is forming. Now I'm on the 1 minute time frame. That means every candle forms within 60 seconds. All right. So LJ says yes. Okay, cool. So you can see how quickly these candles are forming. That's a nice bullish candle here in the pre-market. And I took a put. I entered a put position yesterday at the end, toward the close of the session, because we were dropping. Tesla was dropping, all right, for the latter part of the day. I thought we were going to recover here at, after 1:30, but we continued to fall. And I was like, okay, cool. I remember I marked out 3 key levels. So I have this point of resistance, I have the daily, and I have the monthly. All right. And Tesla did exactly what I talked about yesterday. Look at these candles. Look at this. This is crazy. This is speed and momentum. All right. Like, look how quickly these candles are developing. This is nice. This is nice. So what I was expecting coming into today, this is a good sign. I think what might happen is right at the open, we might, there might be an aggressive sell-off. We did gap up again today. I talked about this yesterday. We gapped up today in the pre-market as we did yesterday. And in the open, Tesla likes to do this quick random drop, like a quick retest to some key level. It might be the pre-market low. It might be the daily key level that I drew out here, or it might even be this point of resistance at 334. So we got a couple of key levels here, 340, 337, and 335. And I think Tesla right at the open might have an aggressive sell-off, boom, and then a quick recovery to push higher beyond 347. I think we're going to break 347 today. All right, we got close yesterday. We got extremely close. Look how close we got, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Now, yesterday, in a couple of pre-market sessions, I talked about when you're practicing trading as a day trader or stock options trader, you're practicing with paper money, and there's no real emotional connection to that. But there are a couple of things that you can learn when practicing, right? So basically, building confidence in your strategy and becoming familiar with the stock that you decided to trade. So those two things will still be the case, but you may not feel any emotional attachment or uh, rea- uh, uh, any emotional connection to that money that you lose or gain, and that could be an issue when you transition to trading live with your real money. All right. So what happens? What happened to me is that I decided de- to pick an amount of money that I felt like, and this will be true for you as well. But I decided to pick an amount of money that I feel like I can walk away from any day, any trade, and not blink an eye, and not blink an eye. And I've been showing you all, if you've been tuning into my live sessions, I've been showing you all how you can purchase these cheaper, even with Tesla, right? You can purchase these cheaper um, option contracts. Okay, so if I let's go back to Tesla, and if I go to options here, I'm going to close this to open up some more real estate so you all can see this. Let me make sure I'm on the 15th expiration. All right, cool. So if I look at where is the okay, so this is the delta. Let me scroll down to the 0.20 delta contracts that I was referring to. All right, so typically these types of contracts, right? If you have Webull or Thinkorswim or Robinhood or IBKR, you can go to this. You can go to this Trading View. You can follow along in Trading View, or you can pull up your brokerage account. So, and let me pull up Thinkorswim too. So I have that open as well. So I'm going to switch to paper side. Let me pull this up so we could take a look at these side by side, right? So if I go to trade, I'm in Thinkorswim, click on the option chain. I'm in QQQ just as an example. Actually, let me go to Tesla because that's the point here. Some of these contracts for Tesla are really expensive and they may be out of your budget. So if I click on Tesla and I come over to the options chain and look at the prices of these contracts, right? For a Tesla, they could be pretty up there, right? They could be pretty pricey. So 1,000 or 1,200, 1,100, 950, 800, and so on, right? So if I come over to the left here, these are the deltas, all right, that's associated with these contracts. So typically people choose like between 0.45 and 0.65. That's what traders normally trade. So even that contract for Tesla is over $400, right? So if you were to try to buy 2 contracts of Tesla, that total position size would cost you $800 because each contract is 400. So what if you can't afford 400, right? But you do want to buy multiple contracts? Well, I talked about buying the cheaper lower delta contracts. So here, 0.22, you can buy a contract for $182. And that, if you had 400, you can buy 2 of those, right? You can buy 2 of those for $182. Now, if you did that, if you did that, I talked about how you could, for me, I wanted to pick an amount of money that I could easily just put in the market, and not really blink an eye, not have any emotional connection to it, especially now that I'm going to start swing trading more. All right. Starting this month, I'm going to start swing trading more. And I took a swing trade last week. I also took a swing trade for Tesla and AMD today. So that's what I'm talking about for those of you who just tuned in. All right. So I'm doing a quick trade recap on these swing trades and the day trade. So I want to talk about and provide a little bit more insight so you all can learn. And if you're looking to practice trading today, you will have a couple of tips to begin with. All right. So you can start with these cheaper contracts. I'm on Tesla, right? And I'm looking at these cheaper contracts for Tesla. That's around 100, $200, right? And you can keep scrolling. You can click on more here, and you can find even cheaper, more cheaper contracts. But you want to select a contract that the highest possible, right, within your budget. So if you have $400, then yeah, I would choose to buy 2 contracts of the 0.18 delta, excuse me, the 0.22 delta. So that would be the direction that I would go. All right. Now, for me, what is that amount? What is that amount? What is that amount that I could be emotionless? And for me, that amount is anywhere between $100 and $1,000. All right. $100 and $1,000. How did I come up with that amount? I'm going to pull up my journal and I'm going to show you all something. Now, if you look at my journal, you can see that I'm going to zoom in here. All right, trading these lower delta contracts, the cheaper contracts for companies like Tesla, I was able to accumulate, 11.3K just trading these cheaper contracts. All right, and my average win amount when I trade is $450. So to buy a contract for $150 or $200 for Tesla is nothing, because I can make that in one trade, right? I've been able to do this consistently since April. I can make $100 easy in any trade. All right, I can make $100 easy. So my average is 450. So this is the amount that you want to. This is why it's important to also journal your trade, so you will have this data to reference, right? When you're trying to make decisions about, well, what's my average win rate? How often do I win, and what is that dollar amount? Because you don't want to lose more than what you win, right? So you want to cap off if you're trying to determine what your stop loss limit should be for any trade, well, you should be looking at these numbers here. What is your average win amount? Don't allow yourself to lose more than the average amount that you win per trade. Okay. Don't allow yourself to do that, because as long as you stay below that number, you can quickly recover and you don't feel the anxiety or pressure to try to recoup your losses. Susanna says, how do you do the journal? That's a good question, Susanna, because in this segment, after I explain, I'm going to journal the Tesla and AMD trade. I'm not sure why Tesla keeps restricting my what did I say? Tesla, TikTok. Why is TikTok restricting my live? I didn't say anything. So I just appealed the last one and they approved it, and then they restrict me again. What did I say? TikTok, tell me. Please tell me. Let's see. Susanna said, what platform is that? This is stunkjournal.com. Let me pull this over so you all can see the website. Hold on. Let me type it in I'll type the answer in the live chat. The website, I mean. Stunkjournal.com. All right, so that's the URL for the website. Okay. And I'm going to journal these trades, so you all will get an opportunity to see what information is important to journal, because there's only a few pieces of information that you need to journal your trades to begin with, and let the journal platform that you choose handle the rest. It'll calculate and do everything else. There's only a few key pieces of information that you need, and I'll show that here in a sec. Tuesday, what's up, Tuesday? Let's see. You said, do you think Webull is a good trading app? I think it is. There have been some complaints about it, right? I noticed from others within um, the communities that trading communities that I'm a part of. I do know that some people might complain a little bit about Robinhood or um, Weeble. There might be some restrictions that they might implement, on some of your trading. So I haven't looked into those, but yeah, I think they are good platforms. I think every platform has its pros and cons. Thinkorswim has been really solid for me since I've been trading with it since the latter part of April. But you want to, also check and see if there's, what, maybe I'll do a segment on the different platforms either this week or next week. I want to plan it out and see what things I want to cover um, for that comparison, and then I'll have that readily available so we could take a look at that. But yeah, I think they're decent platforms. Any of those platforms to use. I like Thinkorswim um, because of it's feature rich, right? It has a ton of features um, that I like. But yeah, let's do a comparison. I'll do that for you all, and then we'll do a segment in one of the live sessions and talk about it. Let's see. So now back to the trade recap, right? So I decided that between $100 to $1,000 is an amount that I can live with, right? I can put that in the market and not have any emotional connection to whatsoever. All right. So if I jump back over here to Tesla, I want to show you all something very quickly. Let's see. Susanna says you are not trading with your mentor live anymore. No, I am. We went live yesterday. We went live yesterday, Susanna. So every Monday, I posted. You may not be in the free community, so I thought you were. Are you in the free community, Susanna? Because in the you said you are? Yeah, so I updated the schedule. I updated the schedule here for when I go live with my mentor. So, oops, excuse me. So every Monday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern is when I go live with him. So we went live yesterday. So yeah, all the updates I'll post in the actual channels. Like this is the schedule channel, so you can if there's a change, I'll make it here in the schedule channel, and then in the general chat, what I'm doing is I'll post when I'm going live. So yesterday I posted that the pre-market live, which started at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, and then when we went live with my mentor, I posted that, and this is in the general chat. In the general chat at 8:26, I posted, "Hey everyone, I'm going live." So yeah, let's see. Oh, you said you are? Okay, cool. So you said, but I'm a little busy taking recertifications for my insurance license. Oh, okay, got you. So uh, yeah, every week Monday, I go live with my mentor. Every week Monday, same time. And if you're since you're busy, right? And this goes for anyone, right? If you're busy or you have to drop early, you can DM me for the link to the replay, because I'll have those replays available for you. Those of you in the free community you already have access to the replay folder. So the link is available in the replays folder. So you just click on it, and I have all the replays, right? Past and future replays. You can access it from one single link. So even if you can't make the live session, you can always check for the replay and watch it at your convenience. All right. So yeah, that's always going to be available. So if you're in the free community, that information is available. If you're not in the free community, all you have to do is DM me, and I will send you a link to access the replays. Swing trade will be a great idea. Yeah, exactly. Because if I want to show you all this trade. So Tuesday, I missed your initial question. What did you ask? Let's see. What's your trading strategy? Okay, I just wanted to scroll up and make sure I caught that. Tuesday, I use the break and retest strategy. It's a simple strategy that you can use on any time frame. All right, you can use what's described as an opening range uh, to, as support and resistance to, use the strategy, the break and retest strategy. And so by opening range, I simply mean you can use the pre-market high or pre-market low. That's one. You can use the first 5 minutes, the first 5 minute high and low, or the first 15 minutes, or any time frame. You can use the hour, you can use the 15 minutes, you can use the 4 hour daily, whichever time frame you want to use as support and resistance. And then what you will simply do is wait for a break above or below that point, those points of resistance or support. But yeah, break and retest. Break and retest is the strategy that I use. Um, and it's very easy to learn. So, do you have a strategy already that you're using or no? Let's see. Is that supply and demand? No. So the break and retest strategy, you can couple the break and retest strategy with various other strategies um, if you want, right? But the break and retest strategy itself it just uses price action, speed, and momentum to gauge for its setup, right? And to give you an idea of what I'm referring to, a visual aid in this explanation. All right, for hopefully you can see this clearly on TikTok. All right. So what we're looking for is once you have a key level marked out. So assuming this is some key level, it doesn't matter. Although I did mark out this specifically, but just assume this is some key level. It could be the 5 minute high, it could be the previous day high, it could be the pre-market high. It doesn't matter. What you're waiting for is a simple breakout of that key level and then a retest back to that key level, right? So a breakout, retest back towards that key level. And then you're just simply waiting for speed and momentum. So if it's a trend, if it's a trend higher, right? If the price is increasing, because price can only go in two directions, up or down. So if price is increasing, then you're just simply waiting for speed and momentum. You're waiting for buyers to step in aggressively and push the price higher. What would that look like exactly? Well, it looks something like this candle here. And like I was showing in the pre-market, you can see how quickly that bullish candle was forming within the 1 minute time frame. All right, so you're just looking for buyers to step in aggressively, and the same is true in the inverted scenario if price is falling or decreasing. Right, so you would simply wait for a breakout of this key level and then a retest back towards this key level. And at this point, you're waiting for weak price action, right? For sellers to step in aggressively to push the price lower. And this is how you can make your trades. Um, and you could be in and out like in seconds, right? Seconds or minutes. Like yesterday, I was done within 30 minutes. All right. And so there's a couple of trades where I was done in like less than a minute, like 26 seconds. So, um, so yeah, I talked about, I want to talk about this trade. Okay. I want to finish talking about this trade yesterday because what I did is right at the open, I want to talk about why we gapped up in the pre-market and we broke above that key point of resistance, um, which Tesla struggled to get above this point several times, right? 5 times total. But we broke above this point of resistance, and then we came back and quickly retested that point of resistance in the open, right? As soon as the market opened, we quickly retested this area. And as soon as I saw that, because again, I was expecting the price to increase, right, all the way up to 347. So I threw in a quick day trade for 200. I think the position was $300. Hold on, let me pull it back up. Let me pull it up here. Give me 1 second. Where is it at? Oh. All right. So if we go back to the beginning of yesterday, what is up with this filter? Let's go to the 11th. Okay. All right. So here's some of the prices that I for the contracts that I bought yesterday. All right. So here's the Tesla contract, and as soon as the market opened, look at the where's the let's scroll up here. All right, can you all see the time? Hopefully you all can see this. All right, so at 8:39 a.m., I bought two Tesla contracts. These were calls for $538 each. So that was a total of $1,000. And then I bought three more Tesla calls, all right, for another $538 each. And then later, at 9:16, I bought another Tesla call for $968. And then I bought an AMD call at 1:37 for 331. For 331, $331. And I bought another Tesla call for $620 at 140. Now, why am I telling you this? Because when I bought these Tesla calls right in the morning, right at 8:39, and I go back to the chart and we go to 8:39 on the chart for Tesla, 8:39, this is what happened. Okay, so at 8:39 is when I bought the contracts, and then we started to push higher. There was an initial drawdown on the position once I entered the positions, but then we started to push higher very quickly. And we just kept climbing. So these contracts reached, I locked in $600 at this point for those Tesla contracts. I locked in $600 and left one contract still running. So I bought two, closed out of it, secured $600 and left the other one running. So I was able to sit through this entire pullback because I already locked in the money for two of those contracts. Now my goal is just to make anywhere between $300 and $500 every time I trade. So I did that. This was by 11:30. So 1.5 hours right after the market opened at 8:30 to 11:30, right? So 2 hours for me. Closing out trades, and I'm keeping some running contracts because I want to potentially capture some more money, right? Because I believe we're going to break well beyond 347 based on the higher time frame analysis. Okay. So I like the fact that we did this reversal here and we still stayed above the previous day high. And even in the pre-market, buyers are defending this level, right? So I made significant money on those two contracts right at the open. Okay. And I was in a Tesla contract before this Friday. I was in one Tesla contract Friday, and let me show you how much that one costs. And this was in a separate account, but if I go to that account and I go to Yesterday at 8:30, I bought this 315 for $315. So this is my swing trade account. I created two separate accounts so I can just do swing trading for one and then do day trading for the other, right? So this is my swing trading account. I bought one contract of Tesla for $315 and it quickly generated that profit because right at the open, it took off. So this is right at 8:30. And this was a $315 contract, right? Can you all see the time when I bought it? 8:30. Soon as the market opened at 8:30, I bought it because I saw Tesla taking off right at the open. So I quickly bought this contract, right? $315 was how much I paid. And how much did it grow in value that day, right at the open? Well, it was already over 100% return. So that means it grew to $600 in value. It grew to $600 in value within 1 minute. Within 1 minute, it grew to $600 in value, right? So this is an amount. That's why I wanted to talk about these cheaper contracts and how to manage your overall brokerage account and manage, try to protect your profits, your gains. I was able to generate up to 11.3K, right? Very quickly within a couple of months, just trading these cheaper contracts. So for me to risk, a couple of $100 here to throw it in the market quickly when the market opens for like Tesla, when I expect the price to, jump up significantly, as soon as I see Tesla trying to take off, I just threw in the position, right? And it quickly jumped up to a value of $600. It only cost me $300 and I made $300 more, right? And so it's a swing trade. So I have a couple of, if we go back to it, when does it expire? It doesn't expire until the 15th of August. So that's later this week. That's later this week is when this contract expires. So I'm going to wait. Now, let me show you. I do want to show you this as well. What is the current value of this 315 position? Well, if I go to the trade, it's currently worth only $11. Can you all see this? Hopefully you can see this clearly. It's currently worth $11. $11.84. It was up, as high as $300. So the net liquid would have shown over $600 here, right? Yesterday at that peak, it was over $600. Now I'm only up $11.84. Why? Because Tesla had this reversal. Right? This V-shaped reversal. And so, Ace, why didn't you sell the contract? Well, because that's not the point of the swing trade. I was expecting this, and this is why it's important for you to, learn the behavior of how your stock moves, right? Because I was expecting this pullback. And what I wanted to see was that we maintained above these 2 points, right? The daily key level that I marked out and this point of resistance that I marked out. Because once we broke above it, I felt like if we break above this right in the open and we stay above it the whole day, then there's likely going to be continuation sometime this week, right? Sometime this week. And I hope it's today. And judging by the activity in the pre-market today, look at this. It looks like that might be today. So if we push well beyond 347, that one $315 contract could grow to 1,000, just like that. Just like that. If we jump to, let's say, I can show you how to calculate this again. This delta, the 350 calls, I bought this. The 350 calls are now 0.36. All right, so if you take 0.36, which is $36, I'm going to do some quick math here on a calculator and show you all this. All right. So when you're calculating these deltas, because this is how you can determine how much money you can make on any one of these contracts. So it's very easy for you to calculate this. This is very simple math. It's not complicated. It's very simple math that you can do to find out how much money can I make if I choose this lower delta contract. All right. So a 0.36. If the stock moves, let's go back to Tesla and see where we were waiting to where we were when the market opened and where we jumped to. So 334 is where we were. 334 is where we were at the jail I work in. Let's see. Logan says there was this British Indian dude who told me to invest in Open Door, and I'm up 27% now off of it at the jail that I work in. Logan, oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, so Tesla was at let's just say 335, 335, and we moved to as high as 346, right? 335 to 346. So overall, Tesla moved $14 yesterday. So if we do the calculation of $36, because the delta means simply for every dollar move, this is how much you can expect to make for this position, for this contract. So whatever delta you choose, whether it's 0.50 or 0.30 or 0.20 or 0.16, whatever, that's the dollar amount that you can expect to earn for every dollar move that the stock makes. Okay, whether you're in a long position, aka call, or a short position, aka put. All right. So however many dollars it moves in the direction you enter your position for, that's how much you can expect to make. So how do we do that math? Well, we just simply multiply the 36 times $10. And that's how you can see that that I was well over $600 in value for that one particular contract. So if we move to, let's just say today we break 352. Let's just say we get to 352. So from 347, that's $5 more. $5 more. So let's do 36 times 15. So this will be $540. This is how much money I expect to make on that contract. And it doesn't expire until 3 days. So this is how I can lock in, $500. That's why I didn't sell it yesterday, because I believe strongly that it's going to break now. But my risk is only $315 if it doesn't. If it doesn't, and overnight the stock just drops. So let's say Elon gets into it with President Trump again, and they begin to go back and forth, and the stock just goes crazy and just falls, right? My total risk overnight is only $315. And why is that okay? Because I showed you in my journal that I can quickly make $450 in the next day trade. So I'm okay with this risk of swinging $315. I'm risking $315 to make, um, $600 to $900. That's my goal. I want to make $600 to $900. All right. So I'm trying to just simply show you how you can calculate this. Calculate your risk, determine if it's suitable for your budget, and so you can make a more informed decision as to, okay, do I want to take this swing trade? Do I want to manage this swing trade during the day, or do I want to manage it, overnight? And am I willing to accept the risk of losing this entire position? So if 315 is too much for you, then you would scroll down to click more and select an even cheaper delta, right? So, and this is an amount you could just throw into the market and just try out. Like if you're like, okay, what amount would I feel no emotion no emotional connection to whatsoever. And if it's $78, for every dollar move, it'll move $10. So for you, a $15 move, right, times 10 is $150 for $78. And your total risk for that swing trade is only $78. And if it moves, right, $15, then you're going to make $150. Okay, so this is why I talk about like being careful to identify, keep track of, journal all of your trades, know your performance, understand your risk tolerance, understand what dollar amount is okay for you to, put into the position, and you won't feel any emotional connection to whatsoever, because you don't want to trade using your emotions. All right, we're not trading using our emotions. What will make you a successful trader and profitable trader is being able to control your emotions and just trade the strategy, not your P&L. If you're entering trades and you're worried about losing money, that's the emotional side of your mind, and that's going to likely affect your decision making, right? So Tuesday says, so when you say trade, you get the 1 day trading contract, right? So when you say trade, you get the 1 day trade. So this contract for this position, remember this position, let me zoom in here. I bought this at 8:30 yesterday, and it expires 3 days in 3 days. So yesterday it was 4, right? Because it was Monday. So now it's 3 days. So in 3 more days, which is Friday, this is when this contract will expire. And so you can hold it. This simply means you have until 5 days to make a decision as to do you want to sell this or let the contract expires. And I can talk about what happens too when the contract expires. Like what happens when you enter a contract, you're in the money, you've made money. So what happens if I don't sell this contract? I can talk about that as well. All right. What will happen, the gist of it is that it will buy the stock at this strike price that you chose. So it will buy a Tesla stock or share for this 350. Now, one contract is 100 shares. So that's 100 shares at the price of 350 each. All right. So it will try to purchase that, given your account size, if it's available to do that. So yeah, that's why you would want to sell the option. You will want to sell the option and not let it expire. Now, if it's a losing position, then it doesn't matter. It'll just be a loss on your books when the contract expires. So whatever it expires at. So if it expires at, let's say you bought it at 315 and there's only 15 cents left on that contract, then it'll just be 15 cents left that will, move back to your account. But yeah, so 3 days is when this contract expires. Does that answer your question, Tuesday? Let me know if that answered your question. All right, so I want to, at the last part of this segment. Okay, cool. You said yes. Thank you. All right, I want to show how to log a journal entry, starting with this Tesla trade. Okay, so let me switch back to the account, and I'm going to quickly go over this because it's getting near time for the market to open in another 15 or 18 minutes. So in Thinkorswim, and this is true for any other brokerage, right? Robinhood, Webull. Basically, you want to go to where it says where you can view your transaction history. right? For Thinkorswim, that's clicking on the positions tab, and I'm in the web browser. And then you click on view transaction history. You can filter for the date you enter the trade, so you only see that information so it doesn't get confusing, right? So I filtered for just yesterday, right? And so only thing that's going to appear here is the trade that I took yesterday. All right. And you can see that it's in order. It's in sequential order, right? Chronological order. Sorry. So this is the first trade. I'm just going to do one entry because I don't have time to do all of the entries. So I'm just going to do this 347 because I ended up selling 347, this 347 call. Let's see, I bought 5, 3, 1, 2, 4, and then 11. Okay, cool. So I'm going to do one buy entry and then one sell entry. Okay. So in the Stunk Journal, here's where you will go. I'm simply going to click on the new trade button here. I'm on the dashboard. Of stunkjournal.com. I click on the new trade button. It's going to prompt me to enter a couple of pieces of information. All right, hopefully y'all can see this clearly. All right, so the only thing you need to make sure is that because this is an option trade, make sure this is highlighted. It should be the default, but if it isn't, you want to select that. And then here, make sure you're in the right positions, right direction, okay? Is it a long or is it a short, okay? This is a call, so this is a long. If it was a put, this will be a short instead. So I took a call position. And now we need the symbol. So you just type in the symbol, Tesla, and you can easily get that if you forget what it is from the data in the trade history, right? So two Tesla contracts is what I bought. And I'm going to come over here to the date and time. Make sure this says buy and not sell, right? It should be the default because this is a purchase. And I'm going to switch this date to August the 11th. The time was 8:39 a.m. All right. And I bought two contracts. Because you can see BOT plus 2, right? BOT plus 2. And what did I pay for each of those contracts? I paid $5.38. Now it shows like $5.38, but remember, you have to move the decimal over 2 places for the whole dollar amount. So it's just simply 538 is what you will enter in the price field. Okay. So 2 and then 538. And then what was the fee, the total fee that it cost me to buy these contracts? There's 2 columns where I had to pay fees. So Thinkorswim charged me $1.32. All right. The 2 cents is over here. So I'm going to enter that in 132. And now I'm done for the buy side. Okay. So I bought 2 contracts and the Stunk Journal will automatically calculate these 2 fields, right? Plus the fee. It's going to calculate these fields for you. Now let's go ahead and enter a sale, for example. So let's assume that I sold, let me go scroll down to 347. I want to pick this. I'm going to erase this, but I'm just doing this for demo purposes, just so you can see how to do this. All right. So let's assume I sold, because this is one of the contracts that I sold. This is a 347.50 call, right? So I bought multiple 347.50 calls, but assuming we bought it for $538, right? $538 each contract, and we sold it for $727. This is the information that you need. $727, and we sold 2 of them. So what are we going to enter here? Let's assume that, when did we sell this? This was sold at 11:10 a.m. 11:10 a.m. We sold two contracts at 7:27. 7:27. And that's what you put here. Not 7.27. Remember, move the decimal over two places. And then you add the fee, right? It should be the same. It will be the same. 132. Obviously, this was only one contract that was sold, but we're using for demo purposes two. So same amount, 132. And then you click save. And you can see here that it appears. Look at the information it'll show you. The date, the ticker, the status, the position. This is a long position. If it was a short, you see a red arrow pointing down. The quantity, 2. The cost per contract, so 538 per contract. So we bought 2. What did you exit? What price did you exit the trade at? And what was the total position size? Well, we bought 2 contracts, so it multiplied this number by the total quantity to get this total. So we paid $1,076 for that position, and we ended up exiting with a total of $1,454. It took 3 hours to trade it. The return was $375 and change. And it even shows you the return, which was 34, almost 35%. So this is why you want to keep track of your trades, right? It's going to journal this calculate this information for you. All you need is a few key pieces of information. And just to recap, this is the information that you need. You go to the transaction history. You need the time and date. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. And the ticker, how many contracts, and what did you pay for the contracts? And every broker should look similar, right? Obviously, this is Thinkorswim, but you should see a similar note in your Webull, Robinhood, or IBKR, right? How much did you pay per contract? So this will all be in your transaction history, and then you will also include your fees. Okay? So just those few key pieces of information. You log the buy side, and then when you sold, right? And if, for example, if I go back and edit this trade, and let's say I kept one contract, I bought 2, but I only sold 1, it will show on your journal once I close this out. Oops, oh man. Now it will show that, hey, you bought 2 contracts, you sold 1. This journal entry is still open. It hasn't closed. Remember, I showed you with the 2 entries, it showed the total position status, but now it's showing open because we only sold 1 contract. So it shows you the position that's still open, still have 1 position. And so far, based on the contract that you sold, you've gained $189, and your current return percentage is over 17%. So this is why you want to just, make sure you're keeping track, because like me, I have running contracts. So my P&L is going to fluctuate a little bit based on that. So I want to lock in some profit, so that way I can sit through, as I showed you all before, I can sit through these types of, pullbacks. These types of pullbacks. But look at Tesla. Oh man, I'm expecting a big push either later today or right at the open. It could happen. Let's see. AMD, really quick. AMD is doing the same thing. So I'm in AMD also. I'm in AMD, and look at AMD. AMD did the same thing. We broke above the previous day high. That's what this green line is here. Broke above the previous day high. V-shaped reversal towards the latter part of the session into the close. Pre-market, post-market and pre-market consolidation. We gapped up with news right at 7:30. Remember I told you we had that Forex Factory scheduled news at 7:30. So you can see both Tesla and AMD jumped up at 7:30. Nice spike right after the news. AMD is starting to retest or pull back towards the pre-market low, but I expect continuation at the open because we just consolidated for the most part. So with that said, that will end today's pre-market prep. I will have this pre-market prep replay available in the pre-market, or excuse me, in the replay folder, so you can access it there if you're interested. All right, is there any questions before I drop? The market is about to open up in 7 minutes, so I'm going to get prepared for the market. Tuesday says, do you mentor or teach? I'm interested in learning. I don't mentor or teach, Tuesday. I just share the information, right? I'm currently learning from my mentor. I've been tapped in with my mentor for since the latter part of April. I paid $3,500 for that mentorship, and I realized a lot of people may not be able to afford that currently. So I'm just sharing everything that I'm learning from my mentor to the public for free. So you can always ask me any number of questions. If you want to do a one-on-one, I just don't want to commit to like being a mentor or doing like one-on-ones because that wasn't the reason why I started trading. I wanted time freedom. And I don't want to be obligated to like, yeah, I'm a teacher. And so I'm just going to teach these classes. But I just share, I go live and I talk about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and answer questions. So I do like a Q&A, and you can DM me any number of questions. Like you don't have to fear that you're asking too many questions. Just know that I'm a team of one, and it may take me time to get around to your questions because there'll be other people asking questions as well. So yeah. Let's see. Artful says, appreciate your time, brother. No worries. Appreciate you all for joining. HQ says, when looking at a chart, how far back should you look? That's an awesome question. I talked about this in the previous live session. So let's do a quick demonstration right here for AMD. Right now, I'm in TradingView, so I'll quickly jump to the monthly time frame, take a bird's eye view. We want to zoom out first, take a bird's eye view. What direction do we see AMD trending? Well, look at this pullback here. We're still trending higher. Trend is still climbing. We had some continuation, but then some pullback, right? It looks like right now for the monthly time frame, we're still in an uptrend. We're still continuing that uptrend, right? So great. Let's mark out where we've been, all right, historically. So I'm going to do this really quick. Like I said, the replay will be available. So if you don't have access to that folder, just DM me for that link. So we have where the stock on the monthly time frame has been, 196. Let's jump over quickly to the weekly, all right? So we got multiple points, pivot points, where we, because we're looking for support and resistance. All key levels are is just historical highs and lows, right? Points of support and resistance. So if we draw this out here, we touched multiple times. We touched, here's a point. And you can see this visually, right? It sticks out right. It sticks out, right? 1, 2, 3. So let's just draw out this level here. Okay. And because this represents a zone, you could draw a line or you could draw a box. Okay. It's up to you. When I draw a line, it doesn't mean that I'm like looking for this specific price point. It's a range. It's a price point range, right? $1 above, $1 below. Okay. So for this, we can move it like right in the middle because we touched this multiple times. Now let's jump over to the daily. Look at how things are shaping up. We can see that we tried to break this point several times, right? And we're trying to do it again today, right? In the month of August, we're trying to do it again. So let's check out the 4-hour. We're just looking left to see where we've been. Look at these points. You can see still in line. So we're looking for that lower time frame alignment, right? So look, even on the lower time frames, you can see we tried to break above these points of that we marked out. So this will be considered a significant point of resistance, right? Because we touched it several times. Now it looks like we're trying to continue to break through. Let's jump to the 1 hour. Same thing on the 1 hour, right? Let's zoom in here. Same thing on the 1 hour. So now we haven't broken above this point of resistance, but we did try on Monday. We did try. We broke above it, but we rejected right off of that, right? Sellers stepped in aggressively and pushed the price lower. But it's okay. We're still trending higher. So the trend, the market structure has not broken yet. That is what we're looking for. Let me draw this here. Boom, 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 boom. We're still trending higher, and we're on the 1 hour time frame. Switch to the 15-minute. Same thing. Same thing. Let me erase this. Switch over to the 15-minute. Now on the 15-minute time frame, let's see if there's another key level, right, that we need to draw out. Or does this monthly time frame key level, is it enough? Well, based on where we are, you can draw out the pre-market high and the pre-market low. What did the stock do in today's pre-market? All right. So we have that drawn out here. I have a script. I wrote a script and I put that in. And so it automatically draws out the pre-market high and low for me automatically, and the previous day high and low. So I don't need to draw any more key levels, but for demo purposes, you can mark out yesterday's activity by simply marking the previous day high. And it doesn't have to be exact, right? You don't have to mark the wick. You can mark where the body of the wick is, right, for the previous day. You can make this green. The market just opened. And then you can draw the low, right? You can draw the wick, make this red. Okay. And so you can do that. I'm just going to erase that because I already have it marked out here. And so now you're just looking for where's the stock been and where could it go? Okay, where could it go? I don't want to take a short position if the trend on every time frame is showing me that the trend is expecting to continue higher. Price can only go in two directions. So is the price expected to continue to climb or is it expected to fall? Well, the higher time frame showed us that it's expecting to continue to climb. All right, so you don't want to take a short position if that's the case. Now, there might be some sniping opportunities, but we're not talking about that for this demonstration. All right. So with that said, we have our key levels drawn out. We have the previous day high. We have the monthly time frame of where we could go. So we're looking to reach this level here. So we have 196 and 176. And we have the pre-market high, pre-market low, previous day high, previous day low. If you're using the break and retest strategy, all you're looking for is a retest to either one of these key levels, right? A break above or a break below, and then a retest back to that same level. It doesn't even have to tap it exactly. It just needs to come near that level. But that's how you draw out key levels, right? You simply jump to the higher time frames and you look left, see what the stock has done historically, and you mark out key highs and key lows, right? Multiple touches at that level, and you can see those easily on visually, right? So when looking at a chart, how far back should you go? You can go back as far as a month, right? We went to the monthly time frame and we marked out, multiple touches on that monthly time frame. Then we started to check out the lower time frames and see the correlation with that level. So we have 176. If I jump back to the monthly, we got 176 and 196. 176, 196, and then we just, continue to navigate to the lower time frames to confirm, okay, multiple touches, look left, multiple touches, look left, multiple touches. Highs, old lows, that's it. Tuesday says thank you. All right, cool. So hopefully that answers everyone's questions. Remember, the replay will be available in the replay folder. If you need that, just DM me if you need a link to the replay folder. All right. No worries, HQ. I got you. I got you. All right. So that's it. I got to get going. So I'm going to drop the mic right here. I appreciate everyone for joining. Thank you all for the likes and the follows and all the support. I appreciate all of you. Much love. All right. Later. I'm out.